Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. Okay, 2025 has been a great year. We all got our things together, and my co-host Shelley Stephen is out there helping Santa with some Christmas gifts. So she'll be on with us next week. But anyway, Shelley and Wesley, Merry Christmas to you guys. Anyway, you fans out there, you see these gloves I got here today? I got them here for a purpose. I got them up here because it's a little story behind each one of these gloves. One of them here is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, one day, his agent called me up and said, Joe, Warren Buffett is doing a commercial with Floyd Mayweather, and Warren Buffett, he said specifically he wanted you to be the referee. He's a big fan of yours. I said, oh, great. So anyway, we did the commercial one night. It was in a boxing ring, and we had Floyd Mayweather and Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett was dressed like a fighter with boxing trunks and whatnot. And I was as the referee and Mayweather with his boxing gloves on. Anyway, so I brought them all together and I had a contest. And they made it look with the green screen behind them, and the studio that we used was a big warehouse. And it looked like there were 60,000 people watching Warren Buffett and Floyd Mayweather, me as a referee. He said, Joe, you have to say, I'm fair, but I'm firm. I said, you got it, buddy. Then I remember, it was a good setup. Then I remember we took a picture after that. He took a picture, him and I together. He says, no, put me in a headlock. I got a picture of him I got him in a headlock, and I'm punching him like this, and I put on the picture, give me all your money. You know, it was funny. And it was really good. Warren Buffett is a great fan from Nebraska. He used to, once in a while, pop into the big fights. He's a big fan of Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, as you all know, last month he beat Canelo Alvarez. And it's been up and down with the sanctioning body, with him not paying the sanctioning fees that Mauricio Suleiman requested, which is a rule that they've had from day one. Every time you fight for a championship fight with the green belt, you have to pay a certain percentage of your purse. But Terrence Crawford's purse was, his due money was over $300,000. And it was a lot of money anyway, so he just said, you know what, I'm not going to give you $300. I don't need the belt. You know, and then he announced his retirement. About a week later, he announced his retirement. He's probably the best fighter out there today. He's about 35 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And it was maybe a little bit older than that. But anyway, he fought a good fight. He beat Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez got an offer to fight again, so he's going to be probably fighting next year, see if he can get his championship back. You know, he loves his boxing. He does it not for the money. He said, I'll do it for the boxing. He said, I love boxing. My DNA is boxing. You know, anyway. And then the other glove here in the middle is none other than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson autographed glove. Mike Tyson, as you all know, retired heavyweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. One day he came up to me in New York. He said, Joe, you know, I was 13 years old when I first met you, and I told you that I wanted to be a fighter. I was starting to train, and you gave me some good pointers. And he says, you told me to stay on the right track, do the right thing, be focused and disciplined. He said, and I did all of that up until I became heavyweight champion of the world. And I said, well, very proud of you. You did a good job. I had the honor of refereeing Mike Tyson on 8 different occasions. The last one as well, when he fought Kevin McBride in Washington, D.C., which I stopped at the end of the 6th round. And I did it when he knocked out Larry Holmes. One time I did him in a 10-round fight against Marvis Frazier, Joe Frazier's son. And the fight, my instructions was longer than the fight. It was 30 seconds in the first round, the fight was over. And Mike Tyson has been a good role model as a champion. He tried to keep everybody on the right track. He committed some mistakes in the past. And he says, you know, I made some mistakes, and I'm still learning, he says, and I've learned how to do the right things in life. And he has his wife, Kiki, who's been helping him a lot. She got him on the right track. And Mike's been showing a lot of love for the fans and for his family. And then we got another glove here, none other than the great Julio Cesar Chavez, signed by Chavez, you can see, Julio Cesar Chavez. And another great fighter, I referee about 5 times. Julio Cesar Chavez, one of the greatest fighters to come out of Mexico. I remember refereeing Julio Cesar Chavez against Oscar De La Hoya, was one of the big ones. I did him, he got stopped. I stopped it, and the doctor stopped it at the end of the fourth round. When he got a real nasty cut over his eyebrow. And I did him against Pernell Whitaker at the Alamo Dome in Texas. It ended up a draw, and it was a great fight. People said, Joe, who you think won the fight? A lot of controversy with the decision. I said, I wasn't paying attention to who was winning. My job, first and foremost, is protecting the fighters. I want to make sure the fighters don't take unnecessary punishment. So I wasn't scoring the fight, but it was a good fight. And I tell you, boxing has been great. I got a lot of young kids out there trying to get into boxing. I tell them that there's plenty of gyms here in Las Vegas. One of them is the Richard Steele Boxing Club. Richard Steele is a little bit under the weather these days. We hope for a speedy recovery for him and his wife Gladys. I talked to her last night. I always like to keep in contact with all my boxing officials and some of the great fighters that I've known throughout the world. After I retired, I've talked to these guys. When I was an active referee, I stayed away from fighters, managers, promoters. You know, people say, hey, Joe, how do you get so many championship fights under your belt? Do you ask a promoter for that? Did you ask the fighters? I think it doesn't work that way. You know, here in Nevada and most commissions, if an official requests a fight, the chances are you're not going to get it. You got to earn it. You got to show the world what you got. And I did that throughout my whole life. 35 years as a referee. You know, I was refereeing back in New York for 15 years. I started in 1977. I remember the Deputy Commissioner, Frank Morris, was watching me do the Golden Glove Championship Finals in Madison Square Garden. And one of the fights that night was Juan Laporte when he won the Golden Glove Championship. And I was the referee for that fight. And then I did him several other fights throughout the amateur years. And the people kept saying to me, Joe, you know, you got good talent. I said, well, that's what you feel, okay, but I think I got to work at it a little bit more. They said, Frank Morris, the deputy commissioner, said, Joe, I would like to have you on my commission. I want you to be one of my officials. I can use your talent. I said, well, I've only doing it for 6 months. He said, Joe, you're ready to go pro now. I said, but am I going to get any work? I mean, I don't want to turn pro and don't get any work. He said, Joe, I promise you one thing. We have about 3 to 4 shows a month in New York City, and he said, or in New York State. He said, I promise you, you will work every card, 4-rounder, 6-rounder. And a year and a half later, they gave me my first main event on Wide World of Sports. It was amazing. A year and a half later, I'm doing a turnaround fight main event. And then from then on, I kept working fights on and off. Yeah, mostly the preliminary fight. Then in 1982, I became a referee in New Jersey, and that's where Jersey Joe Walcott was the commissioner, and Robert Lee was the deputy commissioner. And I remember I went to see a show in Atlantic City one day, and I ran into Jersey Joe Walcott. He said, hey, Joe, he said, I've been watching you. You're refereeing a lot of fights in New York. You're not licensed in New Jersey yet. I said, no, I'm not. He said, I'd like to get you involved with the New Jersey Boxing Commission. Would you like to get a license? I said, sure, I would love to. I was surprised because I didn't approach anybody or nothing for it. He just came up to me and said, I've been watching you fight a lot of fights on ESPN in New York City. Yeah, you'll be a plus on our commission. And 1982, I got my first world championship fight in Atlantic City. And that was an honor for me. They got to do Aaron Pryor versus Miguel Montilla. And that was my first. My dream was to do one title fight. I'd be happy with that for the rest of my life. And that was my first. And little did I know that I would continue to be doing so many championship fights. If you fans have been watching me, I even done fights up in the Eskimo with the reindeers and all that. No, I'm only kidding. But it's been a lot of fun refereeing the fight. When I retired at 2012, 1 year after I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I got my ring. I wear it with a lot of pride, and I'm humble, but I show off my ring. I love to show off this ring. That was the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Kennesaw, New York. That was my third induction into Hall of Fame. I got to New Jersey, and I got the National Hall of Fame. Then I got the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Then I got the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Then I got the Texas MMA Hall of Fame last year. And this year I got September 27th in Atlantic City. I got my Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. So it's big 6 of them. I've been honored. But, I mean, not everybody gets to reach that level, but I work hard at it. I had a lot of discipline. I trained myself so hard to be the best referee out there. And I always try hard. There's an official that I've been helping out from Chicago lately. It's a female referee, Delilah V. Ramos, who's a referee, and she's been doing a great job. She's done over 400 amateur fights as a judge and referee. So she said, we're looking to hopefully turn her pro in 2026. She has all the talent. She gives it all she has. She's taking her position as a referee very seriously, and I think that somebody with her talent in due time, you'll see her going places. You have a couple of female referees out there who are pretty decent, and I think that Delilah has the talent to go all the way in boxing. There's so many females in boxing. With that girl Amanda Serrano, when she fought Katie Taylor from Ireland. They fought 3 times, and it was one of the biggest fights. I believe it was the year before last in Madison Square Garden. The female was the main event. You never seen that before. So it goes to show that female boxing is really developing good. But we need more officials out there. I'd like to see more females get involved as referees, as judges. I got I got a judge here in Las Vegas who was working at the family courthouse, the real judge, but she liked boxing, and she asked me, she said, Joe, I love boxing so much. Is there any way you think you can help me out, with the kids at the courthouse? So I used to go to the courthouse and talk to the kids to try to get the kids on the right track. We're bringing a couple of champions to talk to the kids, and we also had a couple of prisoners in shackles in the back. There was 4 of them. When we spoke, and we let them speak to the young kids out there. They were telling them not to make the mistakes that they made to get them on the right track. But anyway, we're always trying to help out wherever I can. This show that I have, the Joe Cortez Show, that I have with Shirley every week, Shirley, my co-host, we try to help people out there. We try to get people on the right track. We're not trying to get rich with the show. We're trying to share our knowledge and wisdom and get everybody out there to say, I can do it. Like Joe says, I say, I'm fair, but I'm firm. That's my catchphrase in boxing. But you have to be that way in life. You got to be fair with people, be firm, make sure people respect you out there. I feel like there's so much that we have to try to learn in the community. There's a lot of things going on in our community. I've been involved with so many things here in Las Vegas, and I want to get more involved with the youth programs and with the senior citizens. I like to talk to the seniors about, getting themselves on the right track as well. A lot of seniors out there, just because they're getting old, they feel like, my vision is not too good and my memory loss. They don't admit they have memory loss, but a lot of them, you talk to them, you can see where they keep repeating themselves, or they don't know one day from the other. They don't know if today was Tuesday or today is Sunday. They're like, anyway, I just love to go out there and talk to the seniors. These seniors are wonderful people to be with. You start getting the music going, and they all get up and start dancing. You see all the happiness, and that's what we like to see. People happy. We got to Lola's Restaurant here in Las Vegas, where Shirley and Wesley perform every Saturday night, and they're always have a nice attendance of individuals. A lot of seniors show up there, a lot of young folks as well. And when they start playing their Motown music, everybody gets up and starts dancing. I start filming a little bit of the groups when they're dancing away. I have my friend Paul there and his wife Colleen, and there's so many other individuals. Donna Hicks, Donna Hicks never misses a show. She's always there. She's a dear friend of ours. And there's so many, forgive me if I forget some of you guys out there, but one thing that we want to try to do in life is just pay for it, because I feel like I've been blessed in so many ways. I've had COVID. I remember when I was in the hospital for 5 months. Yeah, 5 months I was in that hospital trying to get myself in shape again, because after COVID, I called my doctor, Dr. William Jacks. I said, Dr. Jacks, I tested positive last night for COVID. I was out there doing a instant replay for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and when they called me in the morning, I went to my room and they called me in the morning. They said, Joe, if nobody calls you, come down for breakfast at 10 o'clock. If they call you, that means that you're positive for COVID. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, Dr. Leon called me and said, Joe, I'm sorry to inform you, but you tested positive last night. We have to escort you off the property. You can't be here for the fights. So they escorted me off the property, and I called my daughter and then Sylvia, my wife, and told them what was wrong. And then we decided to go to my daughter's house, and she has 4 bedrooms there. And she said, Daddy, just take one of these rooms there, and you stay in there, and we'll see what happens. But by the time I got there, she already had the hallway already with plastic, like a plastic sheet. I couldn't go through that. I was all by myself in there for 5 days, and 5 days later, I started feeling short of breath. I could hardly breathe. I called Dr. Jack. Jack said, he told me to call you if I feel shortness of breath. Yes, I feel like, he said, Joe, I'll be right there. I'll pick you up and take you to the hospital. He came to my house, my own doctor, William Jack. I tell you, not many doctors do that, but he did it. He's like a brother, and we hang out together. Anyway, he picked me up and they took me out through a window because my daughter, they wanted me walking through the house to contaminate their house with COVID. So they took me out through the window and he walked me to his car and sat me in there. I tell you, it takes a lot of guts to do what he did. Knowing that I had COVID, he didn't care. He sat in the seat of his car, took me to Mountain View Hospital, and I spent 5 months there, 5 months without no visitors. I was in quarantine. So all my family was all, I got on the phone and I would FaceTime them and talk to them. That's the only way I talked to my grandchildren, to my wife Sylvia, my daughters, everybody, my friends, everybody would be calling me up. Everything was on the phone. But I was watching the TV monitor in my room, and you saw, all I was watching was the news. And the news was saying they were in 2020. And before the vaccine came out, and I kept getting these calls, and people said, Joe, you okay? You sure you're okay? On the monitor, they had like thousands of people dying every single day around the world. They were saying so many people dying in the United Kingdom, so many in Africa, so many in Spain, so many in France and the United States, and we had so many deaths going on. So I was a little nervous, so I got a pad, and I started writing down who gets my Hall of Fame ring, who gets my watch, and who gets my cars, who gets anything of value that I had. I had to make a list for my grandchildren and for my daughters, my golden gloves. Not these gloves yet, but the other golden gloves that I got when I won the Golden Gloves in New York. I got 2 gold and 1 silver. And I have making a list who gets my Golden Gloves for 1960, who gets the 161, and who gets 162. And it was something that I said, I'm going to be going. I don't want nobody fighting over my personal items. I think I'm going to do it the right way. I mean, I was just preparing myself. That's like what I do in life today. I prepare myself for the worst. I had cancer back in 2011, and I took care of that. And God says, we're not ready to take you yet. You can get knocked down, but a true champion gets back up. I got back up. I said, I'm going to keep going. I can't quit now. I'm needed in this world. I have so many people I want to help out there. My family, friends, and all the individuals out there watching. I'm just trying to do the best I can to help you guys out there. I don't do it for anything. I have no ego. I don't brag about nothing. I just want to let you know I'm here to help out, even though that's what everybody should do. That's what Santa Claus is doing now. Ho, ho, ho. I want to help you out. What do you want for Christmas? Ho, ho, ho. I want to give you love and attention. That's what we all need. And a hug once in a while. We all need hugs, because one thing, I have my good friend here, Rick Manning, who's my studio engineer here. He's doing a hell of a job, He's going strong at this for so many years. And we were talking not too long ago about all the episodes that I've done on the show here, and I've been doing this for about 8 or 9 years. And I tell you, I have over 700 shows. I think this is episode 713 around there, which is something that not many people stick with it the way I do. And I got my host, Shirley, who's doing a great job with me. Hope she stays on for many more years to come. We want to, Shirley's like myself, we want to help people out there. We try to share our knowledge and wisdom. But life is not easy, guys. You know, you see all these killings and all these youngsters with fentanyl and the guns and whatnot. I got my good friend Kevin Oliver from Texas, and he had a son that died from fentanyl and a son that was killed by a shooting the same year. This is about 4 years ago, you know, and his girlfriend, Juanita Cap from South Africa, who's been living here with him in Texas, and they're doing a great job with the program. They created a mixed martial arts mastermind program, and that's where I got inducted last year in that Hall of Fame in Texas. But they're helping a lot of individuals out there. We're trying to get the word out there for these youngsters to stay away from drugs and the gangs, you know, because you get a hold of the gangs with the guns, and then you start shooting people. Before you know it, you're locked up in jail for the rest of your life. And we don't want to see that happen. We were trying to get everybody on the right track. Every day we talk to seniors about how they can get help out there. There's a lot of seniors don't know who to go to. It's unfortunate that some seniors out there, they're at home. Some of their own family members don't even check up on them. They don't call them maybe once or twice a year. You know, it's not right. You know, you got seniors out there that have given so much. Some of them are veterans. Some of them are first responders. Some of them have just been nurses, doctors, whatever. You know, and we all get old. There will be a time you're gonna need some help. You're gonna need some. But you people out there, if you got a loved one that you know is living by themselves, call them up on a regular basis. I call up two of my brothers, Richie and Michael. Rafi is okay too. All three of them are still alive. But I call them up and talk to them almost every day, just to say a quick hello, make sure everything's all right. You know, we have to not forget that our loved ones and our neighbors. In the Bible, God says, love thy neighbor. That's what he means. That means that you have to check on everybody out there just because you know, you're doing well for yourself today, or you're working, you're driving around with a fancy car, and you have all the luxuries in life. But don't forget, one day you're going to end up being like those seniors out there. You're going to wish somebody knocks on your door or your phone rings to say hello, to see how you're doing. That's so important. So I think that we got to all get together and say, you know, we got to follow Joe, what he's saying. I'm talking to you guys from all the experiences that I've had in life, the people that I've been talking to and whatnot, and they tell me, I haven't heard from my son or my daughter, and they never call me. And once in a while, maybe once or twice a year. That's not right. You know, you fans out there watching the show, you know, everybody talks about boxing. Yeah, I thought I'd done a good boxing career, but I've been so fortunate traveling around the whole world many times, you know, from all different countries, and I learned different cultures in different parts of the world. And I remember one time I was in China. I had an interpreter, a Chinese girl, a college student, and we were walking up the Great Wall of China. It was up there, and Larry Hazard, boxing referee and commissioner in New Jersey, he was with me. And we went to this tour, and she gave us a tour of the whole Great Wall of China. And at the end of the day, we were saying goodbye, and we gave her a little hug. And I was talking to her all day long, talking about my daughters, how I treat my daughters, what kind of father I am with my daughter. And then when we were saying goodbye at the end of the day, she started crying. I said, wait a minute, well, why are you crying? She said, I wish I had a father like you. I said, well, I got all choked up when she said that. Now, this is a girl from China, okay? People from all over the world, no matter where they're from, whether the communist country or whatnot, people are human. And believe me, this young girl, I wish she would have been one of my daughters, because I would have shown this girl all the love and attention that I gave my three daughters, Cindy, Sandy, and Christine. And then, but it's important that we try to all stick together and try to share the love and attention with our loved ones and our neighbors. Even if we talk about neighbors, every so often I'm going to drive down the street where I live here in Las Vegas. I always slow down. I pass some houses, to see if I see some of the seniors that live. There's a couple of seniors that live around there, and I stop in once in a while to say hello, see how they're doing, making sure everything's all right. If they need anything, I say, you know me, I got the house on the corner. You can just come over there, ring the bell, I'll gladly, anything you want. Any emergency, I'm there for you. You need anything special, you want me to get you something from the store, I'm there for you. You know, those things are the things that I like to do in life. I like to share it. I got a good heart. And a lot of you people out there try to do like I do, because some of you people out there are quick to knock somebody and to talk bad about somebody and not knowing the people that really need help. Help yourself and love yourself so you can help others out there. That's what we got to do in life. In life is short. There's no time to be holding any grudges against anybody. And if people do things to you that you're not happy with, you know, accept it the way it is, but you forgive them. But you know your circle of friends. On my hand, I can count. The only friends that I got, I can count them on one hand. Okay, and that's where you got the larger the circle, the more problems you're gonna have. Don't pay attention to everybody out there complaining about something. Somebody's always complaining about something. That's not me. I don't complain about anything. I don't care what it is, anything. I can take care of it myself with no problem at all. I always believe in myself. I thank God every day for giving me the ability to pay it forward and to give me good guidance and keep me on the right. I'm not the best out there. I'm not the best, but I'm hard to beat. Okay? Remember that. Not the best, but hard to beat. You know, sometimes you got to work to live or you live to work. One or the other. So you got to say to yourself, wait a minute. I got to work to live or live to work. You got to do both these days. Then one day, when you kick the bucket, you're ready to go 6 feet under, then it's your time, but you don't know about it. It'll happen, but your loved ones around you are going to come forward. Now everybody got to come forward and see, hey, wait a minute, he died. Everybody's like crying. Wait. Go visit your people now while they're still alive. Don't give up on them. I always want to just keep going. Anyway, boxing these days, going back to boxing now, boxing these days is picking up a little bit. They've had some good fights recently, and I remember that Terrence Crawford Canelo was a good one. Oh, Jake Paul the other day, he got stopped by Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua stopped him, and Jake Paul, he has millions of followers on the media. He's great with that, and he's able to get all these followers to come and watch him fight. But Anthony Joshua said everybody thought he's getting paid to let Jake Paul beat him. And Anthony Joshua, when he got in that ring, he wasn't playing around. He nailed him and hurt him pretty seriously to stop the fight. I believe he had two parts of his jaws were broken, hospitalized, and his doctors are saying that maybe he should not fight anymore. And boxing is you're in the hurt business. You don't play boxing. You can play basketball, football, hockey, all other sports. You play them, but boxing, you're in the hurt business. You don't play boxing, so we say I tell you, keep yourself in good shape at all time, because sometimes you gotta have a battle. The big battle of your life may be your health. You want to take care of yourself. Get yourself checked on a regular basis. I go to my doctor every 4 months. I go to my doctors to check your heart out. You check your lungs, making sure that your energy level is good. A lot of people get to be my age, 28, or backwards, the other way around. Anyway, you always have to try to keep yourself in good shape. My good friend, Rick Manning, he's made a comeback. He's a champion. He had his battle. He said, Joe, I'm not taking the full count from nobody. I'm coming back. And he'd been getting treatment, but his show has kept going on. He had to change dates. He said, Joe, can you change the date for me? I got to do some treatment. I told him, you know what, Rick, I'll change anything for you. Anything you want, I do, because, you have to accommodate people for what they do, especially when it comes to their health. You want to make sure you got to treat them like they're your family, your brother. Rick's been with me for so many years, working the shows. And I say, if you guys want to do something, try to reach out to Rick Manning. And he's a good guy here in Las Vegas. I would say, Keep your guards up at all time. And remember, Christmas is right around the corner. Christmas Eve tomorrow night. I'm going to have about 20 people come to my house, my families and some friends. We're all going to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a ho, ho, ho. See you next year. See you next week before the New Year's. We're going to have before a New Year's show. We'll see you then. Take care. God bless. Keep your guards up at all times. Remember, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Ho, ho, ho.